Good evening, everyone. My name is Camille Gale, and I'm a Public Relations Coordinator here at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I would like to welcome everyone to our fourth annual Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Women's Career Forum. I want to thank Sheriff Chad Cronister, Under Sheriff St. John, Chief Maurer, Chief Losad, and the entire HCSO command staff for allowing us to hold this event. Our goal for this evening is to promote and inspire career opportunities for women in law enforcement, detention, and in our professional staff. Our agency continues to prioritize and cultivate the number of female applicants with programs and events like tonight's to bring awareness to professions within our agency. This evening, we have women joining us from a variety of positions within our agency. And each of these ladies play an integral part of our continued success. Through years of hard work, experience, and dedication, they have worked their way to the positions and ranks that they currently hold and have proudly earned. These ladies are proof that when given an opportunity, that anything is possible. We will hear about each of their journeys and experiences while working at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office throughout the night. Now let's get started by introducing tonight's panelist. It is my honor to introduce Colonel Nikki Bosley. Colonel Bosley, a Hillsborough County native whose career with the Sheriff's Office exemplifies excellence, leadership, and service. Since beginning as a deputy in 2007, she has risen through the ranks to become commander of the Department of Investigative Services, leading with integrity across every division, from patrol and investigative services to special operations. Colonel Bosley truly embodies dedication, innovation, and the power of women in leadership.
Thank you all. As she said, my name is Nikki Bosley. I am the colonel over the Department of Investigative Services. Before this program began, I had the opportunity to speak with most of you, and I'm excited to share tonight with you because it is all about you guys. You guys have taken the first steps of starting your new career at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. And we all had people to support us when we were interested in becoming part of HCSO. And those people helped us, and we're here to help you guys. And no question is a stupid question. So please bring anything that you've thought of, that you're wondering about. Now is the time. For the people here in person, welcome. For the people that are online watching, welcome. Bring any type of question for us. We're excited to get started. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I did start in 2007, and I've been in multiple different roles within the Sheriff's Office. I've been fortunate to work in patrol, in special investigations, our professional standards Bureau, and now I oversee the Criminal Investigations Division, which includes homicide, economic crimes. I know I have a future homicide detective in the crowd. So special victims, our domestic violence unit, which was just created. Sheriff Cronister is always trying to take things to the next level and think of ways to be different and innovative and to solve every type of crime. There's a unit in the Sheriff's Office for any type of crime. We have auto theft, which is under our special investigations, which I oversee, our human trafficking unit, our organized retail theft, our opioid overdose squad. So any type of crime that you've ever thought of, it probably falls under criminal investigations or special investigations. So I will let the other panelists introduce themselves, but I am so happy that you guys could be a part of this event tonight, and please bring anything to us.
Good evening. I'm Major Kawana Brown, and I have been with the Sheriff's Office for 23 years. I'm currently assigned to Jail Division 3, which encompasses all of the inmate support services: food service, laundry, medical, vocational training, and educational services. And over my 23 years, I've worked just about everywhere in the Department of Detention Services, the courthouse, Orient Road Jail, Falkenberg Road Jail, and now I'm here in Jail Division 3. So welcome. If you guys have any questions, as Colonel Bosley said, don't be afraid to ask, and hopefully hopefully this evening, these ladies and I can remove any doubt, answer any questions you guys may have.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Sarah Q. Stokes. I've been with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office going on 15 years. I started my career as a deputy, like many of you hopefully will start your career. But one of the things that I quickly noticed when starting with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office was I was not a number, right? There's so many times where we gain employment with an employer and it's like a check in the box, or we're just another number or an applicant. But one of the things that I noticed very quickly was that I was like family. My supervisors treated me like family. My coworkers treated me like family. And it was one big area where I had the opportunity to thrive and to grow. So like the other ladies have already mentioned, we are here to answer your questions and to remove any doubt as to why you should apply with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Welcome, and we look forward to seeing you work alongside us in the near future.
Hi, good evening. I'm Kathy Hernandez. I'm currently assigned at the Sheriff's Operations Center as the Administrative Sergeant for Chief LOSAT. Effective this coming Monday, I'll be at our Community Outreach Division. So I've been with the agency for 15 years. I started at District 1 Patrol Deputy, and that's our USF area. And I became a detective from there. When I got promoted to corporal, I went to District 3, which is by our Citrus Park Mall area. And then I've been in Professional Standards Bureau, and I worked at the SOC as an admin as a corporal. And then I actually got the opportunity to also work in the courthouse. So that was a great experience. Thank you, ladies, for being here tonight. I just want to let you know that we, as women here, have a very tight bond with one another. We all know each other. We are very supportive of one another. We mentor each other. We get advice from one another. We lift each other up. We have a very strong bond here with the females in the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. So welcome. Thank you so much for taking time to be here, and can't wait to answer any and all questions you have. Thank you.
I'm Deputy Ortiz. I'm assigned to District 5 Patrol. I've been in the agency for 5 years. I originally started in detention. I did Orient for a year, and I did Falkenberg for 3, and then now I'm on patrol. Like Captain Stokes said, this is more than just a job. We're not just a number. They're really all family. Wherever you see them, even outside when you run into them, they treat you like family. I love working for the agency. It's just the best. Like, I love it.
Hi, I'm Rosie Vidal. I'm a manager in communications, which is our 911 dispatch center. I work with Tara, who's on the end, to do recruiting for the comm center. I have been at the agency for 25 years, so I started when I was 19, a little out of high school, and I've made a career out of it. It's a great place to work, and regardless of what position you're in, you're always helping someone. I don't think there's anybody here that has worked in an office really, except for maybe Tara, but even our civilian, employees that work in payroll, like they're all helping us. So if you want to help, regardless of if you want to be on the street or in an office, we have a position for you. So thank you for coming.
Hi there. My name is Tara. I'm an HR section manager over the Employment Services section. I started my career about 13 years ago. I started off working as a receptionist at Orient Road Jail. After that, I transitioned over to our records department as a records specialist. I did that for a couple of years before I decided to go into classification. Classification I did for about 5 years. I actually really loved that position. I did work night shift, so I dealt with a lot of the inmates that were coming in through booking. We interviewed them, determined if they were violent, nonviolent. We did keep separates, we moved them, and basically what that means is based upon their gangs, their gang affiliation, we made sure that they weren't housed together in the same housing unit. We did a lot of movement, placements of inmates. So I did that for about 5 years, loved it. Decided I wanted something that was a day shift position, so then I ended up here in HR as a background investigator. I loved being a background investigator. As a background investigator, we do all of the civilian professional staff backgrounds. So any of you guys that are coming on board, if you choose to do professional staff, then we would be doing your background. So that basically entails doing employment references, neighbors, personal references. We reach out to any city, state, county you've ever lived in. If you've worked there, you'll go through polygraph. Once all that's said and done, once you're approved, then at that point we'll schedule your medical and psychological if applicable, depending on the position. And then from there, I got promoted to my position now as an HR section manager. So I oversee all of the background investigators. So, thank you. Everybody done? That's everybody.
Thank you so much, ladies. We're now going to open up to the audience for any questions that you have, as well as our online audience. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them in the chat, and we will make sure to get to them and have them answered for you. Any questions? Oh, don't be shy, please.
So if you are pre-certified, what is the, thank you. Oh, my bad, sorry. If you are pre-certified, what is usually the process to be hired, basically from application to training?
My name is Michelle Hamilton. I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer here. So I oversee everything HR related, to include our recruitment and screening section, our employment services section, our benefits section, our personnel processing section, and our employee compliance section. So when it comes to pre-certs, they go through a little bit of a different process than a normal trainee would, because of course you'd be coming on board with experience. And are you talking about a pre-cert for law enforcement or detention? For law enforcement, okay. We do both. We of course accept pre-certs on both sides of the house. So it's still an entire background, basically no different than a trainee. You would have to go through, one of the first steps typically is taking our PAA. So that's the physical abilities assessment that you would schedule to come in and do that right here behind Falkenberg Road Jail. We have a course, and that would be the same course that you must keep up with in service on a yearly basis, that you have to make sure that you accomplish. Once you get past that hurdle, you would be assigned a background investigator. And of course, I forgot the most important thing: applying at joinhcso.com. That is our application site, joinhcso.com. So that, of course, that's the first step. Once you get past the PAA, we would assign you a background investigator. That investigator is going to go through basically a lot of the things that Tara talked about, going through your background. We need to get with your past employer and see what your experience has been. That past employer, we're going to look for information from their professional standards bureau, from previous supervisors. We want to see evaluations. We want to see as much as we can, okay? And you are talking about being pre-cert within the state of Florida? Yes. Okay. So great, as long as you are a pre-cert within the state of Florida, that of course makes things easier. But if you are a pre-cert from another state, there is the ability for you to do what's called the EOT, or the equivalency of training, that you can take your training from another state, go through about a 2 to 3 week course, depending upon what school you do that at, to get your certification here in Florida. And if you choose to do that, we in turn will pay for that EOT training, okay? So, but going back to the pre-cert, so we get through that whole background, probably no different than you did with the agency that you came on board with, your fingerprints. We're going to go through, as Tara said, where you've lived in the past, going through county records, going through FCIC, NCIC, going through court records. We're going to check your credit. We basically want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly about every candidate, okay? Sometimes people get very afraid because they think, oh, there might be something in my background, okay? Unfortunately, yes, I wish we could take every candidate that comes to us, but sometimes there's things that we cannot take. But what we tell everybody is try and go through the process. We will try and work with you. And what we're looking for is for everybody to be as truthful as possible about their history, so we can make an informed decision. So once you get through with the background investigator, then in turn you would be set up for an oral board. That oral board as a pre-cert is typically our colonel of law enforcement or detention and 2 majors. If you come on board as a trainee, your oral board is going to be a major, a captain, and a lieutenant, Okay, so they are now going to assess you and to see if you are a right fit for our agency. Once that happens, and if you successfully pass that, you will go in front of selection. Our selection is all of our colonels and our chief deputies. If they give the thumbs up, then in turn you would get an offer. And then after that, the offer, then there would be medical and psychological. And if you pass those things, you would then be scheduled for whenever our next class is, for a pre-cert starting or for a training. Does that kind of wrap it up for you? Okay.
Awesome. We do have a question from Karen Harden online. She says, do we have part-time jobs in a clerical capacity? Because she retired from the state attorney's office after 36 years, which congratulations, but she's bored.
I'll answer. We don't have many part-time positions. Probably the largest number of part-time positions we have are crossing guards. So crossing guards are integral for us. They're important, of course, for all of our children who need to get to school every day. And by having those crossing guards at the crossing, that avoids us having to have maybe a law enforcement deputy having to be at that crossing to make sure those children are safe. So that's a great part-time job. And what a lot of people don't realize is even coming on board as a part-time crossing guard, that also starts building towards your retirement with FRS. As far as other part-time positions, we really don't have that many. We have onesie, twosie in the comm center, but what?
Part-time detention specialist.
We do have a, yeah, we do have a part-time detention specialist, but that's kind of a rare one too. Most of our positions are full-time positions. The crossing guard is really the one that we have that is the part-time position.
Thank you so much. We also have another question online. Elizabeth S. says that she has applied to be an office assistant but has been turned down. So she wants to know, what are we looking for in candidates? Maybe is there a certain criteria that she might be missing the mark on, or is there an overall advice that you can give to applicants?
I'll take that one.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's difficult sometimes, and it is discouraging. We have many, many employees or potential employees, applicants who apply for our positions. Most of our positions, I will tell you, sometimes will have applications in the hundreds. Detention and law enforcement build up to the thousands. So it is sometimes difficult. I encourage people to keep trying because you never know. And depending upon, there may be, she was talking about an office assistant position, that may be an office assistant position in a certain area. Let's just say it's in HR. And maybe you don't have the skills that they were looking for that particular position, but there may be an office assistant position in the comm center or in detention somewhere else. So we encourage people, just because you don't get picked for that one, don't get discouraged, try for another one. And the second time that you apply online, the first time is the longest application. It's lengthy to fill out our application. But once you do applications for other positions, it's a shorter application process because we have most of your information. So my advice is try and try again.
Perfect. Any ladies that are joining us in the room, are you looking for a particular position? Are you just here because you're curious? Do any of the positions or ranks that our panelists have entice you a little bit? Yeah? Or do you want to know more about any of? Yeah, absolutely.
So in the detention area, if you were looking into a deputy position, what would requirements look like? And then like day-to-day like activities, like what would you expect from the job?
That's a great question. Major Round.
All right, so Department of Detention Service, I'm so excited about this. You only have to be 19 and have a high school diploma. They will train you, I'm gonna repeat that. They will train you on everything we have required to be a detention deputy. Firearms, I know when I first started here, I was so scared to touch a firearm. I've never touched a firearm, ever. And that was the scariest part of the job for me, but I got remediated for years, every time. But we have the best training staff seriously, we have the best training staff. They will teach you everything you need to know to get through the certification and to qualify annually, because annually we still have to qualify with those standards. So they will teach you anything you need to work here. All right.
Is there anybody that's looking for something not sworn? Any professional staff inquiries? No? I'm offended. No, I'm just kidding. We have another question online. They want to know, is there a main thing that you look for when hiring candidates in detention?
Every applicant is going to be unique. But when you come through the oral board, one of the things that I can say that we look for is just honesty in your answers and being very candid about why you want to choose detention. There are, like Michelle Hamilton stated, there are thousands of people who submit their application each day. But the biggest things that we're looking for are individuals who have integrity, people who are honest, like I stated before. Do you have life experience? Do you come with education? What sets you apart from your competitors, right? So we're looking for well-rounded people, people who are honest, people that we would like to work alongside. And so as women here on the panel, I enjoy working with other women who have skills, who are highly qualified and highly motivated. So those are the things that I would say would be good starters for people who are looking for detention.
How do you basically balance work, life, and family?
Great question. So we'll go to the hours first. The hours, whenever you graduate from the academy, a lot of times the vacancies are on night shift. There's a lot of young, hungry deputies on night shift that are proactive, and so it's good that when you get released from the academy, that's where you go. It's a great training ground. And those hours can vary from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and we also have a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. We also have day shift, which is the same hours, 6 a to 6 p.m., and then 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then we have a mid shift, which is 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. So it's 12-hour shifts, and the schedule is that 1 week you will work 5 days, and the next week you only have to work 2 days, which is awesome because you take 24 hours off and you have an entire week to yourself. As far as work-life balance, it's so important because Sheriff Chad Chronister is very passionate about family being first. We have two families. We have one here at the workplace and we have one at our house, right? And so it's just being mindful of that balance because you could easily get caught up in either side, right? But you do have to be mindful of it and make sure that you're present at both because you cannot be productive here at work if your home life is in shambles. So it's just being intentional every single day in both places to make sure that you're present and you're making the most of both. But great question.
Absolutely.
I would like to know what your position is like. 'Cause I'm more of on like the journal event, like, you know, people
Yeah.
you know, photography type of, you know, design path, and I'm not so like, I don't know if I could do the seriousness. But but I would love to know like what kind of things do you do on your day-to-day schedule, and you know, just
Do I not give off serious?
you do give off serious. You do
Okay.
give off business casual. I would
Thank you.
love to know what you do.
So I'm a public relations coordinator. I do have a background in journalism. So I worked in television for about 8 years and then switched over to what we call the dark side, even though it's a lovely side. Our public relations office that we call public affairs, we really do this. Like we kind of are, you know, the people who make the sheriff's office look amazing, even though they do that on their own. But we put out press releases, we handle the social media, we handle events, our graduations, just really anything that promotes the sheriff's office in a positive light, but also on times when it's not so positive. We try our best to answer media inquiries whenever something's going on in the community. We are that liaison between the sheriff's office and Hillsborough County. You're welcome.
So I would like to know, as women, that's my biggest thing. So we're emotional creatures. We take things a little bit different from anyone else. In this position, I'm sure that you guys see a lot of different things daily. How do you guys handle tough situations? I'm sure you see things and it stays on your mind a little bit longer than normal, but going home and like seeing those things daily, every day is something different. Having to go home, come back, and you know, we can wake up tomorrow and it's something new. It's always new. How do you stay grounded? How do you guys stay grounded? How do you stay tough as women? Like, how do you keep yourself up? What pushes you to come in every day and be who you are today?
It's back on. That's a really good question. Being that I just been on patrol for a year, there's a lot of things that, or calls for service that, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think law enforcement dealt with. Like, there's a lot of 911s that I'm like, whoa, we go to that. As well as, I know you said you want to be a homicide detective and stuff like that. That's what I want to do too. But like my first dead body or just calls like that are really like, I didn't think I would be able to handle it, or how would I be able to go home and handle that? I do attend church, so I feel like that has helped me a lot on this job. Friends, just having a outlet outside of your job, I think is the biggest thing. Support system, people that you can talk to and won't judge you. That's one of the biggest thing I would say, because we do deal with a lot, especially certain calls that you're like with children. Every what you might take some as far as like you might be able to handle a dead body, that person might not be able, or calls for service for children. Everyone handles things differently, but I would say have a really strong support system. I'm not sure about religion and stuff, but I'm big on that. Praying. Just having the right people to talk to. Hobbies, you need to figure out that first with every call. Like it's not for the weak, I can tell you that. But you have to really just have a good support system, because every call is different. You will handle every situation different. If you see your friend or a coworker dealing with something different than how you would, talk to them, give them ideas of how you dealt with that situation. Maybe it will help them. I do talk to other coworkers that have been here longer and see how they dealt with situations, because that might help me vent to them, talk to them. You're never wrong. I would feel like that helps me a lot, especially being new on patrol. I talk to the higher ups, anyone who, you can talk to anyone, major, captain, it doesn't matter what title they hold, they still speak to you like they never forgot where they came from. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that I love about them. So that's how it helps me out a lot.
I just want to add a couple things. Yes, we deal with difficult situations. However, this career, and any career within the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, is the most rewarding career that you could possibly have. As many difficult situations we have, on the flip side, we have the greatest situations that we experience, and we're able to help people that are vulnerable, that find themselves victimized. And I can tell you there is no greater feeling in this world to help a victim. And on top of that, we have employee wellness programs that ensure that mental health is is a thing here. It is a real thing that Sheriff Cronister truly does care about, and every one of us are here for each other, but we have so many programs in place to be there when we do face those difficult situations that literally people are one phone call away. And it's not just a saying of, I'm just a phone call away. You know that when you call, that somebody is gonna pick up. And I think that's the biggest thing here is, yes, it's difficult, but it is the best thing you will ever experience working here.
I think this is a good segue. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What does your day-to-day look like? And I know that since you guys have 12-hour shifts, like how does that like affect you more than like an 8-hour shift would?
Honestly, 12-hour shifts feel like 8 hours to me. The day is busy. The day just goes by fast. Before you know it, I look at the time and I'm like, oh man, I got 2 hours left. So it goes really fast. Sometimes I forget I work 12 hours. Like, yes, it's 5 days on, 5 days off, or you work 2 days the next day, the next week, but it just goes by so fast you don't realize it's 12 hours, believe it or not. To me, it's great. I don't mind it. I do enjoy having the following week working 2 days only. I feel like 14 days of the month is perfect for me. I still get to enjoy my days off too. But I like it. It's not as bad as 8 hours.
Did everybody catch that? You work 14 days in a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Any more? I wanted to get some of our 911 dispatch professionals to talk about how they work together with our patrol deputies and kind of relate to that question of how do you deal with difficult calls and navigating that.
Thank you. Yeah, I was actually thinking that when y'all were speaking on that. So in the comm center, we also work 12-hour shifts. We have emergency call takers that strictly answer 911 calls. So any call that comes through 911, they're the ones that are going to be receiving it. We also have dispatchers who handle 911 calls, our non-emergency calls, which sometimes could actually be emergencies. Sometimes people don't realize what kind of situation they're in and they call non-emergency. But we're also dispatching the calls to the deputies. So the deputies that are patrolling and responding to calls for service, we're giving them the information over the radio. So in the comm center, even though we're not out there seeing what's happening, we hear everything that's happening. So like I said earlier, I've been there 25 years. So I've had an array of phone calls. And like the colonel stated, we're here for each other and the agency has a lot of programs. What's great is, like she said, you can call someone and they show up. So we have peer support. Our chaplains sometimes come up to the comm center, they walk around and they speak with us. They check in on us, and if we do take a really bad call, because again, we're all affected differently, I could tell my supervisor, like, hey, I took this really bad call, I want to speak to somebody about it. And they'll get someone from peer support, or we even have, a psychologist in the agency that we can speak to. But we also have programs that we can get therapy sessions to talk about whatever's bothering us with a call, and it's confidential. I've used it before, because like I said, we're all affected differently. But yeah, within the comm center, we are also a family, and we are a family with patrol and the jail. We do work more closely with patrol, but we're always looking out for the deputies because we want the citizens to stay safe and we want the deputies to be safe. Our biggest thing is we just want to make sure the deputies go home every day, every night to their families, and we want the citizens to have the best service. So as a 911 dispatcher, technically it's like a customer service position, but it's a little bit more stressful because we don't know what someone's gonna call in about. Just like on patrol, every call's different. Someone could be calling in just to ask for directions, or maybe their electricity went out, and those are easy calls. We can just refer them to another entity. But other times someone's having the worst day of their life, and we have to stay calm and help them the best that we can. So what we usually tell our new hires, because I help with recruiting and the training academy, we always tell them, just pretend that the person calling is your family member. like give them the best service that you would want your family to have when, if they needed to call in. So, thank you. Did I answer everything you needed?
Yeah, that was phenomenal. Thank you. Any questions from the audience? Okay. Lieutenant Hernandez? Yeah, of course.
I think the major touched on training. I wanted to touch on one other thing. I think the major touched on training here. We are very big on training, okay? So I would tell you probably 75 to 80% of our jobs, you can come in with basically almost no experience, just some job experience. A lot of times we're looking for stable job experience, but our training here is so world class that we will teach you everything that you need to know. If you come on board and you want to go to detention, you're going to go through a 6-month training academy teaching you everything that you need to know. Once you graduate out of our training academy, you're going to go out to one of our jails and you are going to be in a field training phase where you're going to work alongside trainers who are going to continue to help you through various phases. That whole first year, you're in what we call an FTO phase, field training officer, field training deputy type of a phase. You are not going to be let go of any piece until you are comfortable. And the same thing goes on the law enforcement side. On the law enforcement side, training is a little bit longer. 9 months, you're going to be a trainee, and then you're going to get promoted to a deputy, and you're going to be in a year as a field training deputy out on patrol. Comm Center also has a whole training phase. We put you through all your training, and then in turn you get a certification, and then you're in a field training type of a situation. The beauty is we're training you while you have a position. Some agencies will not hire you unless you're a pre-cert. You have to come already with a certification. We're going to help you get that certification. We're going to pay you through all of your training. We're going to teach you, and then we're going to promote you to the next level. But we do it all for you. I'm not going to sit here and say we hold your hand. You have to work at it. We'll help you along the way. You do have to work at it, but we're going to train you from day one. So don't be concerned that you have to come in with a bunch of experience for one of these positions. Most of them, like I said, most of the positions we have don't require years and years of experience in a special field. Now, granted, we do have some positions. I'll give you an example in our finance area. We have accountants. Well, you have to come with some accounting experience, that type of thing. But I will tell you, HR, Tara works with me in HR, and we have brought people in the door into HR who never worked in HR at all. Tara herself didn't work in HR before coming to HR. Her ability to move around through the agency and have a good reputation as a great worker, a hard worker, an enthusiastic worker is what got her to that next position. A lot of people who come into the sheriff's office, they start in on a position that they don't even know what they wanted when they came in the door. But opportunities presented themselves because they worked hard, they were enthusiastic, they did what was asked of them, and they have moved around. Not a one of these ladies sitting up here is in the same position that they started with in this agency. So we do a lot of promoting from within. On the certified side of the house, detention and law enforcement, pretty much it's only promotions from within. And a lot of our professional staff positions are the same way. You may come in an entry-level position, but then you get promoted along the way. So the opportunities are endless. They truly are, and we will train you and help you get to that next level. Other questions?
Would it be the same if you're training, for example, crime scene investigation? Would you get that same training?
You heard me say 75% of the jobs, pretty much, you don't have to have experience. Crime scene is one of those that we do require some experience, okay? We need people who are going to be able to hit the ground running. You have to have graduated from a crime scene program before coming to us. We don't have enough crime scene investigators to be able to train people from scratch. I hope at some point, as our agency continues to grow, we might be able to do that. At one time, we didn't bring trainees in the door for law enforcement and detention. We only did pre-certs. But as we continue to grow and we get more people, we in turn can create some of those programs. But unfortunately, crime scene is one of the ones that you do have to come with some experience. But That doesn't mean you can't start somewhere else first. An evidence technician, start learning there, moving over to do potentially something else and work your way maybe to that spot and continue to learn. And one of the other things that we do a great job of here is helping to pay for your education. So if you currently don't have an undergraduate degree, you can come on board with us. We will give you $2,000 a year towards your undergraduate, and we will give you $3,000 a year towards your graduate degree to help complete those and get the classes that you need maybe to get to that next step.
Okay, we do have some online questions. Lieutenant Hernandez, Kamisha, wants to know what we can tell our family when they say law enforcement is too dangerous for families. A lot of people are asking about safety or just saying that safety means a lot.
Yeah, they're right. I have a husband, 2 children, and I'm going to go back to what we keep saying. We are trained so well within this agency. Sheriff Chad Chronister gives us the best training, the best trainers. So we are fully prepared to come into our careers and protect the citizens of Hillsborough County or help the citizens of Hillsborough County. And my safety doesn't waver. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm trained for what I'm supposed to do. And I come home to my kids and my husband every night, and I pray to God that that keeps happening. But I know I'm put in the best hands in this agency because they want to make sure that that's the case. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. Thank you so much. We have Debbie who wants to know if there's any opportunities in the healthcare ambulatory outpatient setting. She wants to know if there's any RN positions.
So here at the Sheriff's Office, we actually have our own clinic. So the clinic not only assists with work comp or work-related injuries that happen, you also can go to our clinic for personal care. So kind of envision an urgent care center. So we have RNs, we have medical assistants, we have a radiology tech, we have 2 physicians, we have a, what do they call those? Nurse practitioner. So there are opportunities in the medical field. There's medical front office staff that's needed. So the clinic is about a half a mile away here down the road, and we're able to use that clinic. When we use that clinic for personal care, you go to the clinic, let's just say you have the flu. You go to the clinic or you've got an ear infection or something. You go to the clinic, they see you see the doc, they give you medication, and you walk out the door and you didn't pay a dime for a visit or the medication. It's a great program. We have great doctors there. Many of us use it for care because it's easy. You know, sometimes you need to get to the urgent care. How long are you going to sit there and wait to be seen? Pretty much you walk in the door there, you're seen, you're in and out, you've got your medicine, and you're good to go in a half an hour. So that is places that we have medical care. In our jail, we have partners too. We have a partner called NAFCare that takes care of all of our medical services in the jail. And it's kind of interesting. We've had people who have come through as a medical partner and then turned around and come on board with us. So that's another way that we sometimes have gotten employees through some of our vendors or some of our contracts, and then people realize, you know, I like it here. Let's go ahead and apply. So we do have a few medical opportunities as well.
Amazing. Tara, if I could get all of your bosses to walk out, right? Can you tell us your favorite department to work in? Because you mentioned a lot when you did your introduction, and we had some people who missed your introduction, but can you kind of explain where you've worked throughout the agency and kind of explain a little bit about those places and how they differ?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I worked in the jail, sorry, Michelle, that was actually my favorite position. I loved working with the inmates. Every night was something new. There was never a dull moment in booking, as you guys know. When there was a full moon, that's when things happen. So I really did like that position. I just wanted a change of pace, and I wanted something that was Monday through Friday because I do have 2 little ones at home. So I was working 12-hour night shifts. And then when I came on board with HR, it's typical non-standard hours, but I will say that in this position, it's definitely more rewarding. Just seeing the faces of candidates getting hired on, it makes my day. We have candidates that just cry because they're just so grateful to have been given the opportunity. So I will say that HR is definitely rewarding.
Phenomenal. I have another question online. What benefits do you get as a detention deputy working in the jail? This is from L. Polite.
As a detention deputy, you're privy to all of the benefits that employees receive. So we get health care, we have access to health care, dental care, vision. We have access to the Florida retirement system, which is a huge benefit if you plan on doing a full 25 years. We also have tuition reimbursement for individuals who are seeking their undergraduate or their graduate degree. We have military service hours, so if you are a military serviceman, you can still do your active duty or your reservist time and still be compensated for that while you're working for the sheriff's office. There are a whole slew of benefits that we offer as an agency. Oh, that's another great benefit. I was just reminded. So we offer free meals to staff. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but the meals are delicious and they're free. Okay? Every day that you come to work, you never have to worry about what you're going to pack for lunch. You come and the items are delectable. Okay? So I say that with all jokes aside. There are a host of benefits that the agency provides. Sheriff Chad Chronister is really, really big on ensuring that not only we work in a safe environment, a healthy environment, and a clean environment, but that our employees are valued and that if there are opportunities for us to grow and for the agency to invest back into us, that is done. So if there were if there was something that I could say that would be a differentiating factor between us and other agencies is the number of benefits that we provide to our employees in addition to great compensation.
Let's not get this twisted or wrong, but we all love coming to work, right? But we also like our time off.
Yeah.
Sign me up for vacations, right? So we got vacation time. We have our comp bank that we can fill up. When you work overtime, you can either get paid out overtime or you can accumulate that bank. Holiday time, and then we have sick time. And just depending on how long you've been here will dictate how long or how much sick time you get. But I could tell you, you have 4 different banks basically to choose from of how you're going to take that next vacation. That's like the most important thing, right? Yeah. So.
Absolutely.
Oh, we also have a lot of gyms. I don't know the count at this point, but we have gyms in most of the districts. Here at Falkenberg, there's multiple. We have one down in Ybor City at our operations center. So that's also a great benefit. Thank you for bringing that. Any other benefits that we're missing out on? And we're paid very well. Very well.
All right, so this question is going to be twofold. So this is time served. Deputy Ortiz, why did you become a deputy? And then Rosie, I believe you have been here the longest? 25 years? Yes. Why have you stayed so long?
So like I mentioned, I did start in detention. I did 4 years now. So honestly, I would have never thought I would do detention based on what I've seen in movies and, you know, Orange is the New Black and stuff like that. But it's very much different to Orange is the New Black or anything you see on TV. I did go to law enforcement because it's my passion to be a detective and just things that I know I'm passionate about. I have to go on patrol and do that, but not to say I love the detention side too. I'm gonna leave it there. I do love detention. I do like law enforcement, but honestly, what's kept me here, not just because I like the job, but I like the friendships, and like I said, they're more like family. So I don't have family in Florida. I moved from New York over here, well, Massachusetts. I just packed my car and I just left. I wanted to get away from how I was raised. I don't have a family that really likes law enforcement, but now they have no choice. They have to love me. But like I said, I left all that behind to start somewhere new. It was hard, it was tough. I worked 2 jobs before I joined detention. Did 2 jobs and also went to school all by myself. I was 24 years old. I didn't think I was gonna do it. I really thought I was gonna pack my car again and drive back, but I did not. And I'm thankful that I stayed and just gave it a try and pushed myself to do it. It was the greatest experience. I don't regret any of it at all. Like I said, the people I've met pushed me. I had family that supported and just pushed me to stay and just give it a try, and I did. And like I said, if I could do it all over again, I would do it just the way I did it. I wouldn't do it any different. I love both sides. That's all.
Thank you. So I mentioned earlier I started in the comm center when I was 19, but I actually started working for the sheriff's office when I was in high school as a summer clerk, which we still have the program. So I worked for 3 summers while I was in high school as a summer clerk doing admin work. Morgan Street Jail when it was still open, Falkenberg when they were still in the trailers, and then at District 2. So I really loved working for the sheriff's office, and I actually thought I was gonna be a deputy, but after I did a couple ride-alongs, I figured it's not for me. I wanted to stay, in an office where it was a little bit safer. Y'all do a great job. I can never be out there. But yeah, so I started in the comm center when I was 19, and I loved helping people and answering the 911 calls. I was a trainer for 15 years, which can be difficult at times, because you're training someone to take 911 calls, so it could be stressful, but it was rewarding, and I've stayed because this is where I wanted to work. Ever since I was in high school, I knew I wanted to work for the sheriff's office. And it's a stable environment. So we've never been at risk for, losing our jobs during COVID or anything else that other entities deal with on a day-to-day basis. And we all support each other, so it's a great place to work. I've, just been happy that I've been there for 25 years, so it's a great place. And like Tara said, since I help getting new hires, it's actually very rewarding to see someone want to work in the comm center and want to answer the 911 calls, and they get very excited when they get a job. And there have been families that have come to our comm center graduations that, have actually thanked me and thanked our staff for hiring their family member because they were just so grateful that they were able to start their career at the sheriff's office. So that's what keeps me there.
So 15 years ago, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I worked several different jobs as a receptionist at other places. And I talked to people from other agencies, which I will just say, everyone pointed me to Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office from other agencies, said, this is the best agency. If you want to get involved in law enforcement, go to Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. And they said the best thing to do is do a ride-along. I did my first ride-along, and I fell in love. It was at that moment, I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, I had no idea. I was like, this sounds cool. I'm interested, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I did my first ride along and I was hooked. So that's something else that you ladies can look into, is doing a ride along, or in the detention side as well. I'm not sure what kind of programs they have. A tour. So yeah, it's always an option.
I was hooked when I heard everything that you've done. On your journey to your position now, how was it? How was your steps, like your journey to being an investigator now?
So I started out in patrol, and I became a field training deputy, which they train the new recruits after 3 years of being on the road. And at the 5-year mark, I had sworn that I was never going to be in our property section. Nothing about it interested me. I didn't want to investigate burglaries, criminal mischiefs. It just didn't interest me. I wanted to skip straight to persons crimes. But what I didn't know is at the time, our property section included persons crimes also. So I started out in a TDY, a temporary position, in our investigations unit in District 4, which is South County. And it quickly turned into about 1.5 years that I was temporarily assigned, and I absolutely fell in love with the investigation side of it. And after about 1.5 years of being there in a temporary capacity, I was promoted to the rank of detective. And when I was a detective, I investigated shootings, stabbings, robberies, carjackings, the burglaries that I swore I never would. I finally accepted my fate. But that was probably my favorite position in the sheriff's office, is being that detective investigator. And after about 5 years of being a detective, I transitioned to our, it was at the time our intelligence-led policing unit. And it was basically a UC undercover capacity that it's basically gathering all of the intelligence and figuring out who the bad guys were and making sure that they are held accountable. And after a short time there, I was promoted to a supervisory role in 2018 to a corporal. And as a corporal, I went back to patrol. I went to our street crimes unit, which is basically street level crimes, narcotics, firearms offenses, and excuse me. And then I went back to the investigations as a corporal. And then I was promoted to sergeant, lieutenant, captain, major, and colonel. And throughout those steps, I've been in our special investigations division in a covert capacity, and then our professional standards bureau, which includes the internal affairs accreditation and our body worn camera. So I've had a little bit of everything, but I was saying before this program started that anytime I had a opportunity to go to a place that I've never been, I looked at it as just that, an opportunity, because it's just another a tool in your bag for this journey, right? It makes you that much well-rounded. And now I'm over special investigations and our criminal investigations, which you have to be a jack of all trades, because you're not just investigating one thing. You're investigating so many different things, but it's the most rewarding position to be in, because you do get the justice for those victims and families. And so I couldn't be in a better spot at this point in my career. So I look forward when you become a homicide detective. I may still be here, I'm not sure.
Okay, we have some online questions. They're asking if we're hiring in corrections, and if so, what shift? I know that we have to go on to joinhcso.com to see what we're hiring for. I think the better question is, do we hire for certain shifts? Is it shift specific, or do you get hired and then you get assigned a shift?
So you would actually go where we have availability.
Okay.
So all 4 shifts at any given time, you could be assigned to any one of them. So that's just based off of availability. Yes.
And can we get transferred to other shifts at any given time?
Based off of needs, yes. Mm-hmm. But we bid for shifts once a year, the same as law enforcement. We bid in November. The deputies and the supervisors all bid for shifts based off of seniority. And the shift implementation is in January. So every January, you could be assigned to a different shift, or you could be assigned to the same shift depending on where you land, based off of your seniority.
It's good to know. Mm-hmm. They also want to know, do we pay for schooling if someone wants to do forensics? Which I think we might have answered for the, was that crime scene analyst, or are they different?
So I know we do tuition reimbursement. I'm not sure exactly what type of schooling is required for.
As long as you are trying to fulfill a degree, so whether that's an undergraduate degree, a bachelor's, Bachelor of Science, a regular bachelor's, we will pay $2,000 a year towards those classes. And then once you get your undergraduate, if you want to move on to your graduate, you can do that, and we cover $3,000 per year because, of course, those classes are a little bit more. The class just has to be able to relate to something that you can be doing at our office. So forensics is a perfect example, yes. I'm trying to think of something that would not equate. Well, nursing, we've actually covered that, and we've had people go to be a nurse in the clinic, so we've actually covered that. So it really has to be a job. We wouldn't cover it if it was a job that we just don't have here. So I don't know, athletic trainer comes to mind. We have no position here that's an athletic trainer. We do have one, I guess you can quasi call him an athletic trainer. What would Brandon's title be? I don't even know what his, I don't know if it's an athletic trainer, but it's kind of like a physical trainer. So we have one position. But that really wouldn't be something that we have a lot of positions around here that we would probably cover. But if it's anything that can get you a promotion or a position here at the agency, we would cover it through our tuition reimbursement program.
Thank you so much. Does the government shutdown affect our positions here?
I'll go ahead and answer that. We are mainly funded by local resources, our taxpayers of Hillsborough County. That's why Sheriff Chronister is so big on our service to our community, because our community is what pays for everybody's salary here. So in turn, what's going on at the federal government does not affect us because the funding that we get is coming from the local. It's coming from the citizens of Hillsborough County. So if there's federal employees out there who are looking for positions, join HCSO.com.
Perfect. Any more questions? All right. So if we don't have any more questions for our panelists, we're going to end tonight's event. We will be around if anyone has any more questions, so feel free to stop by and chat. You can also go to our Training and Recruitment office. That's at 2207 North Falkenberg Road, and you can check out our Human Resource Division. We look forward to seeing your applications, and thank you so much for joining us. This was such a delightful, enlightening, and personable conversation, and we hope you all have a great night. If anybody has any more questions online, feel free to leave a comment. We'll get to them and answer as many as we can. But again, thank you so much for tonight.